Yeah, let me know if you are able to see my screen.
Yeah, we are able to see.
Yeah.
It's a presentation.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, today we will be covering the introduction part of robotic process automation and Uipath. The introduction part of Uipath as well. Introduction of Uipath we will be seeing next session. But like today we will be knowing, we will be discussing about overview about the RPA, robotic process automation.
Yeah.
Yeah, these points we will be covering today. I'll be covering today. So what is RPA and why RPA is required in organizations? Okay. What are the benefits of implementing RPA in the respective organizations? So like how they can actually leverage the RPA to get maximum benefits. So what are the RPA tools currently available in the market? There are many tools, but we will be discussing about what are all the tools available and why Uipath. Okay, so why Uipath? We have to choose among those market leading tools. There are multiple market leading tools are there in RPA. So why RPA we have to choose? And what are the current opportunities in RPA technology and the salary range and job roles in the RPA technology segment, and who can learn this RPA? Okay, that is, so these are all the main points we will be covering. So we will be getting an understanding of what about RPA. Like after covering these sessions, after covering these points, you will be understanding, you will be getting some idea like what is about RPA. You can stop me if I'm going, if I'm going fast. Okay, so you can stop me at any time. So if you have any doubts. So
Yeah, sure,
let us, yeah, let us, sorry.
No, please continue. Yeah, the flow is good.
Yeah, what is RPA? So let us understand each letter, each word, each letter in this RPA. R stands for robotic, P stands for process, A stands for automation. Okay, so robotic means it is mimicking the human actions. Okay, suppose we do some as a robot, right? Like we see many places the robot, like it mimics the human actions, like physically. If you see physically in automobile industry, like earlier it is been used a manual, manual resources are used. Now it is been completely like automated with robots. In the line, in the manufacturing line, each part will be like assembled by using a robot. Okay, because there we are eliminating the human intervention, human action. So here also, like in software, the same way, like operator will be like, or operator or user of the application will be like entering some data or like processing the data in front of the application, sitting in front of the system, and giving the input from the keyboard and entering some data and processing the data and moving from one screen to another screen, and finally like there are some sequence of steps and to achieve a task. So that kind of task will be done using manual effort. Okay, those kind of human actions can be eliminated with robotic. Okay, that's why, you can understand in that you can understand the robotic in that manner. Okay, so there are many examples, like these are all the main classic examples of robotic means. Okay, process means the definition is like it is a sequence of steps, okay, or operations for achieving a productive task. Okay, suppose anybody like say for example, when we are entering into a bank to open a new account. Okay, so to open an account we need to submit the form, and we need to approach the teller, and we need to get the form and fill that Okay, there are some sequence of steps are there. Actually, we fill the form and it will be submitted to the teller in the branch, and they will enter some details, and after some time, I mean after some maybe 1 or 2 days, your account will get created, or on the same day after he or she completes the, I mean the respective task. Okay, so it means we are following some set of steps or operations to complete to achieve a task like opening a account. Similarly, like in other, I mean any application, right? Any software application, I mean any software application, to achieve a meaningful task, there are some sequence of steps actually need to follow the same steps and to achieve that particular task. So that is what the process means. Automation means eliminating the human intervention. Okay, so like we submit the application, so and just enter the, we give the teller, and he also, like he or she will be doing the entering those details manually in the system, and then like further it will be like go to the next department and to open the account. That is one example. So there are other tasks also, like to perform a task or perform a meaningful productive task. Okay, so these manual intervention will be eliminated. Okay, so eliminating this manual intervention means the automation. Okay, either we can do not only by using RPA, so we can do some other software also automation, like the regular conventional technologies also can be used for automation, but here everything will be in single place. Okay, so I mean to make a classic definition, I mean concluding that
Sir?
what is the means. Sorry.
Sir, excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, where are the places are used in RPA, sir? Like I have only thought in software industry, but actually,
Yeah.
where are the places the software is used?
Yeah, I will come. We will be covering that part in the next session. Actually, like where and all. I mean, what are all the use cases? I will be discussing about the use cases in various industries, in different industries like healthcare, financial domain, and IT industry, and different industry, manufacturing industry. This is used. Robotic process automation is used. Okay, so I will be
Yeah, okay,
explaining those use cases in detail in next session.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
Yeah. So if you want to give a classic definition for RPA, like I mean, if someone asks, like, so it is a mimicking the human actions or human actions to execute a series of steps, a sequence of steps, which leads to a meaningful or productive task or activity without any human intervention. So this is the classic definition of RPA. What is meant by RPA? Okay, makes sense. Why RPA? So what are the benefits of RPA? Okay, so why organizations are like, why anyone has to use the implement the RPA, and what are all the major benefits of RPA? Okay, so first, if you see the cost savings, okay, see, like we discussed, many industries will be like performing some I mean routine works, actually, like routine jobs will be there. So if, for example, a manufacturing industry will be receiving bills in different ways, like I mean invoices, either fax or like physical bill or like soft copy. So, and one accountant will be like sitting and receiving that information and collating all the information and entering into some system, and then he will process, and next department will be processing, and then next department will be processing to the process their invoice bills. Okay, so this human intervention will be by eliminating this human intervention to the maximum, we can actually save costs. Okay, and efficiency also gets improved. Okay, as robot cannot do any mistakes. I mean, if it is we feed the logic, it will be doing the same logic as per the requirement. It will not do any mistakes. Okay, so accuracy will be more, the efficiency will be improved, and cost savings will be like there is a huge there is a considerable and huge cost savings are there. So, and there are some applications where the front end, I mean customer care applications will be there. So implementing there this RPA, we can improve the, I mean, better customer service. Okay, and it is more more productive employees. It means the routine works can be eliminated by, if we eliminate the routine work by implementing the RPA, the human resources can be utilized for the task where human decisions are required. Okay, robots cannot take any decision, but human can take decisions, right? So few jobs where human decisions are important. So we can actually utilize the existing employees by giving better training into their respective other where the other tasks, like where the human decision is required. So that way, like, we can improve the productivity of employees, completing the process more rapidly. Okay, as bots can run 24/7, they can actually, we can use that bots for 24/7. Here bot means robot, I mean robot. If I'm defining bot means it is a robot. Okay, we can actually continuously run this by continuously utilizing this bot. We can actually achieve the task in very less time when we compare with the same task done by human resources. Okay, and there are administrative tasks in many companies, so they need to follow some certain standards to comply with the regulations of the local governments. Okay, so globally, I'm talking about globally, not only in India, and it is, there are a lot of compliance standards to be followed by the organizations as per their local government. Okay, so by achieving these routine jobs using robots or bots, so organizations will be like in compliance with the regulations and the local standards, I mean local government standards. So what are the key factors of RPA? Okay, so here minimal coding requirements. Okay, if you take any tool, so we majorly like hardly just 1 or 2% of coding, that is also like not very big statements. Okay, so that we can easily understand by reading those statements. Okay, very minimal coding requirements. All the activities actually, like pre-built code is called as activities or like blocks in the RPA tool. So it is, they are already pre-built by the expert developers, product developers. It is already pre-compiled code. So we need to use that pre-compiled code or pre-built code. Okay, it is just like a modulating, actually, like we just, there are some certain blocks like kids will be playing, right, and using blocks. So to build a meaningful object, they will be like using that blocks and building that, right? Like we see some 3-4 years age group people. Okay, kids. So like we will be like I mean all the code will be in the pre-built activities, so we can use those pre-built code activities and build the bot within less time. Okay, team size can be minimized, okay, to achieve a task. Suppose there are 10 people in a team to process the invoices, like considering a huge volume of, medium scale industry. There are some more volume of bills are coming and it has to be sorted out, and inside the invoice processing department it will go from one bench to other bench. Okay, so using this RPA, so we can reduce the team size. Maybe one or two people can be utilized for this RPA, managing this RPA bots, not for developing, managing actually. And then like rest of the people can be utilized for other activities where human decisions are required. Okay, human thinking. and it is more profitable to the organization if they implement this RPA process.
Sir, what is meant by less time to build the robot application?
Less time to build robot application. I mean, suppose we are processing we are processing a invoice, or we are processing a salary calculation. Salary calculations. I mean, for example, I'm giving an example with one example. Either we can consider the invoice calculation or invoice resolution. Okay, in a considering in a industry or any organization, that organization is selling some products. Okay, it will be like or it is consuming some raw material, and it is having some vendors where they will be sending the invoices for the raw materials they sent. Suppose I mean, they will be sending the bills. Invoices means bills. Okay, it has to be like processed, and that accounts has to be settled for the different vendors. Bills will be like in a different way. Some people will be sending hard copies, some vendors will be sending fax, in the form of fax, and some people will be sending in the form of soft copy, like in the PDF format or Word document, and different. Okay. This invoice processing department will be like having a team size, considering 10 people are there working in that invoice department. Some people will be like collating the receiving the bills and ordering, and taking the information from the each bill, and entering that information into an Excel format, and then further it will be like a calculations will be done, and bills will be like some for them, actually, like some VAT bills or GST bills has to be generated, or that has to be entered into their records. Okay, this has to be done by some set of people having some team, actually. Okay, if we automate that complete process, okay, the team size will be reduced. Okay, less time to build the robot application means these operations can be, I mean, completely, like these operations can be done within very less time. Like bills can be read by OCR engine, optical text reader. Okay. There we are using the human effort. I mean, human is used for reading the bills, but here there is a scanner will be there, and that information will be copied to the Excel or some database, and from there it is processed, and from there it is processed further into entering into some other location. Once everything is completed, that completed. I mean, once the one vendor that bill is completed, it has to be like signed, and I mean digitally signed and kept in some place in the sense, some folder, secured folder.
Okay.
This entire process can be done using our robot. So with RPA technology, I mean RPA tools, we can develop bot within very less time, as they are actually pre-compiled code is there, right? Okay, we can do it using by regular languages. I mean, regular conventional language, C, C++, .NET, Java, and other like Excel applications. But here we are utilizing all the applications and building it at a single studio or single place.
Yeah. Okay, sir.
So that is that is how we can actually, like using this robot, I mean RPA tools, we can build the robot applications very quickly. Okay, because
okay, sir.
With the pre-compiled code, I mean, we are just adding the tools, actually adding the blocks, and more profitable.
Okay.
So let me move on to next. If we see the RPA market growth, considering the RPA market growth from past 5 years, 6 years, okay, it is continuously growing every year. You see, from 2016 to 2023-22, projections actually showing in the last graph. I mean, 23 showing. So this is the, it is increase, I mean the market is growing every year, so it is going to grow for next if you see the projection for next, I mean 10-15 years, it is going to grow still more, because if we see the, I mean North American countries and like Europe countries and Australia, right? So Australia, Canada countries, there many organizations are like moving towards digitalization. Okay, digital transformation is happening nowadays. We are seeing, I mean, many of the organizations are actually implementing towards, I mean, their activities into software. So for the, I mean, that is going rapidly, because this post-pandemic also, like I mean, during pandemic it is still increased that utilization of software. Okay, so considering this, all this data, it is being projected, actually it is going to grow for next 10 years still more. So in India it is still catching, it is, we are seeing only the less market now here, but in other countries it is, I mean in India most of the consulting companies are like service based companies are actually working for the either Europe countries or American countries, right? So India also, like we will be like getting the work in this way, but service based industry will be getting more work on the RPA technology. See, what are the market leading tools available in the RPA segment? Okay, if you see Uipath, Microsoft Power Automate. Uipath is, I mean Uipath companies, Uipath. Microsoft Power Automate is owned by Microsoft organization. Automation Anywhere is also, you will be hearing more on in process automation. Blue Prism, Pega Robotics. It is earlier called as OpenSpan. It is owned by Pega Systems. Then afterwards, it is named as Pega Robotics. Workfusion, Kofax. Okay, there are a few more. Okay, but these are all the main leading tools in the RPA segment, RPA technology. So why Uipath we have to learn, or why organizations need to implement Uipath, or like why Uipath? What is the why everybody using Uipath? Okay, so it is minimal coding requirement. Okay, Uipath is user-friendly environment. If you see the studio, Uipath studio, we can easily understand. Actually, there is no it is not. It looks very simple. It is not very complex. Okay, so easy to learn and easy to implement, faster in implementation of any activity. Okay, with very less programming skills. Okay, if you understand the process as a user, you will able to understand this RPA programming using Uipath. Okay. So built-in objects and functions, we can call it as out of the box features. Okay, so like I said in the earlier slides, pre-built activities or pre-built code, right? So they are also called as out-of-box features, because it is already been available in the studio Uipath product. We can actually use that and leverage according to our functional requirement, and we can build the robots in very rapid manner and very easily. So community edition is available. Okay, so how do you learn any technology? Okay, you need to have that software in your system. Like for example, Visual Studio or Java or like Automation Anywhere or like any tool, you need to SAP, any tool or any technology. If you want to learn, you need to have that software. What if the company is providing a community edition? So with the latest features, if the company is providing the product for learning and using as a developer, that's a very good thing, right? So community edition, okay, it is community edition means it is freely downloadable. Okay, so whoever want to like learn the technology, or like whoever is like working on this Uipath technology, they can use this community edition. It will be having the latest features, and they can utilize for their for their improvement, actually, like a professional improvement, or like they can also utilize it for building the bots, like a freelancer also. So community edition is available in the Uipath Academy. That's the Uipath Academy is the Uipath site website. So that's a very good feature. Whereas it is available for lifetime free of cost. Okay, for lifetime free of cost. Whereas in other competitive tools, there is it is being available only for a trial period. Okay, like for 30 days to 60 days. After that, that product will get disabled in your local laptop or desktop. Okay, after that you need to like to install it. It is very difficult to install it, so it will make some registry entries, so it is not easy to delete those entries. Okay, modular development, tasks can be split into a small parts called as workflows. Okay, suppose we are building a huge we are actually automating a big process. Okay, so there are some 4 or 5 departments are there, like activity will be moving from, a task will be like moving from from one department to another department, and another department to another department. Like finally it will be, the task will be resolved. In each department there are some other small tasks will be there, sub tasks will be there. Okay, so here the development can be like split. Each department's work can be split into various developers, multiple developers in the team, and individual subtasks can be like once it is completed and tested thoroughly, individual subtasks, and they can be like assembled, or like together they can integrated, and quickly they can build a robot or robot software according to their functional requirement. Okay, extensibility means see, there are some existing features available in the Uipath, or any Uipath. We have some good features are available, like it can integrate with external web services, or like databases to pull the data, or like fetch the data. Okay, on top of that, if you want to extend the existing features of Uipath features, right? So we can also like customization code can be written on top of the existing features. So according to our requirement, suppose if it is having only one feature, we can actually add 2 more features with customization code, and that whole with the help of that one, we can actually achieve our functional requirements. Okay, you will understand this more. Okay, when we use, okay, this is some advanced features. Reusability. Okay, reusability means like some tasks in the any organization are reused, actually, like they are like repetitive for multiple departments, like sending an email, sending a PDF generation. So sending email, like we can use it for employee communication, or like sending a salary slips, or like invoices. So those kind of communication can be done using send email functionality. So that's a common functionality. That's a reusable code that can be used across various departments. And PDF generation, Excel processing, some other web, screen scraping is there. But there are different types of activities are there in process automation, or robotic process automation, that can be used, okay, in Uipath. Just-in-time compilation. Just-in-time compilation means, see, whenever we write any code, right, in conventional language, only we will be like, we don't know whether there is any compilation errors are there or any syntactical errors are there while developing or while writing the code. Okay, only after writing the code, if you give a command to the compiler, just to compile it, then only it will compile. Suppose we have written some 10 lines of code. While writing the code, it will not compile. After completing the 10 lines of code, if you give the compilation, if you ask the compiler to, hit a command to compile it, then only it will compile and see whether any syntactical errors are there or any unreachable code, runtime errors are there. Those errors will be identified only after giving a hit on compilation. Whereas in Uipath, while writing the coding, while developing the bot itself, if you are adding some, or if you are writing some commands, right, at the time itself, it will show that error. Actually, after immediately written that command or like adding that feature, it will give the whether any error or if it is any error is there, it will pop up or it will show in the warning message on the screen. And easy to deployment, ease of deployment. It is very easy to deploy actually. So there is easy deployment process is there. We will learn that during our course. So, and it is a market leader in Uipath segment, if you see. And it's a good product support actually. Currently many organizations are already implementing robotic process automation using this Uipath software. We can say that I'm naming few of the organizations. Known organization: SAP, JPMC, HSBC, Wells Fargo, State Street, and Bank of America, etc. There are more companies, service-based companies are there actually implementing this RPA. Implementing using Uipath for RPA implementation in their respective organizations. Okay, and Uipath is available in 3 features. 3 flavors. Okay, that is Uipath Studio, Uipath Robots, and Uipath Orchestrator. Okay, these are all the 3 flavors. It is available. Uipath Studio is used for development of the bots. Uipath Robots are used for execution of the bots. Orchestrator is for deploying, and it is a centralized system where our bot is deployed and it can be scheduled. It can run from there. On demand, we can, whenever we want to run on demand, we can run from there, or we can schedule it for the given schedule. And as per our requirement. If you see, this is the top. Okay, there's Uipath is on top of the rest other tools actually. You see, Uipath Power Automate. I took some recent metrics. Uipath stands on the top. So various roles available in RPA technology. RPA industry. Third, RPA developer, solution architect, RPA consultant, RPA business analyst, and RPA project manager. So developer will be doing all the regular day-to-day development activities. Okay, solution architect will be like who will be designing the process, entire process. He will be translating the existing process into a digital transformation. Okay, he will design all the all the components. So what in the initial phase, what are the components need to be developed, and in sequence, what components it has to interact, and where the data has to be saved and where the data has to be retrieved, and those things, like entire thing, like from end to end, solution architect will be designing the RPA bots. Consultant is also like a similar role as it's a combination of development and solution architect. Okay, business analyst will be like taking the requirements from the users, I mean end users. Okay, suppose end users will not be knowing actually. Suppose organizations are the end users. So they want to automate the process, but they don't know like how to do that. So they will give the requirements. Business analyst will be interacting with the end users and analyzing that requirements and interacting with, and he will be like translating that requirements into documentation. Okay, he will provide the documentation. I mean those requirements he will be like giving to the development team. The development team will be there. Development team will be having solution architect and developer. Okay, so they will translate this requirement into the digital transformation. So RPA project manager. So project manager will be like managing all these activities. Okay, right from the requirements to the production support. Once it is deployed into the orchestrator is the place where we deploy the robots. So once during the after deployment also, like we will be like we need to maintain. So we may come across some issues if there are more volume or like some downtime. So those kind of it's a regular activities. Okay, so RPA project manager will be monitoring end to end of these activities. So finally, who can learn this RPA? Like that is why we are all meeting here. So it is easy to learn. It is not required any programming skills. Okay. Most of the programming, I mean, most of the RPA tools, Uipath, Blue Prism, and Automation Anywhere, Microsoft Power Automate. So they have, beside to that out of box feature, they have also recording feature available. So where we do not require much coding skills. Okay, we need the logical thinking skills, but coding skills is very minimal. We can it's not at all it's not at all required actually. You can say even very small statements, it is easy to understand. We can utilize those statements. Okay, and build the robots for the functional requirements or use cases or like business requirements. Basic knowledge and technical skills like minimal math skills, like very basic skills like math skills means don't get afraid of this. Okay, very minimal skills required like 10th standard. Actually now to do any software job, right, mathematical skills is up to 10th class standard knowledge is required actually to perform all these tasks. Okay, I mean in terms of mathematical skills I'm talking about. So ability to grasp minimal prerequisites are, I mean ability to grasp prerequisites are needed. Prerequisites in the sense like application knowledge, like which application we want to automate or like which process we need to automate. So that knowledge is required. And ability to create simple RPA tasks. Okay, that we will come to know. We'll understand while using the our Uipath Studio. So where since it is already like I mean very limited time, within very limited time we can learn actually. Even we can learn within 1.5 month actually. So yeah, I am pretty much done. So let me know if you have any questions. We can discuss.
Hi Srinivas, this is Ravi.
Yes, Ravi.
Am I audible properly?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, whatever you said is pretty good and very clear for manual. This is very good actually. This is
Yeah,
very
thank
good.
you.
And but I would like to know little bit about orchestrator, what it does exactly, because I worked on this thing, RPA tool, Uipath. I made
Mhm.
myself two SaaS. I mean, I learned some courses from Uipath Academy.
Yeah.
but I couldn't understand properly what exactly Uipath orchestrator does. I mean, is it a server kind of thing?
Yes, that is where like we any RPA will be, I mean, any UiPath bot will be installed. Okay,
Hmm.
like in that is a production system actually, or like that is where like that is a central system where we create a process bot to
We
run
deploy we deploy
building
there, right?
tasks. Yeah, we will be discussing that in the next session. Yeah, tomorrow,
Okay.
not tomorrow, next session. Okay,
Yeah, sure, sure.
probably on Monday. Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
So that is one of the
Uh,
component in UiPath product. Okay, UiPath product is having three products, sub products. One is Studio, UiPath Studio. Other one is UiPath Robot. Okay, and UiPath Orchestrator. Okay, these are the main three components.
okay. Actually, I made myself two use cases by taking, like, that bot will open email. Within
Mhm.
email, there will be it will select important category. Within important
Mm.
category, it will download PDFs.
Yeah.
This is the one process I learned it from online, and I did myself.
Mm.
So how could I mean, so this bot we can deploy in orchestrator, right?
Yeah.
We deploy an orchestrator and make it functional, right?
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Yes,
Locally,
sir.
see, locally, I mean,
Mm,
you robot, I mean, robot manager or like UiPath manager is there. I mean, UiPath robot is there, right? That is the local orchestrator. Okay, it will be
mhm,
like running that bot. Suppose if you want to run
mm.
that from only from your individual system, it will run.
Yeah, got it. Okay.
Okay,
But in organization we need that orchestrator, right?
yeah, compulsory. It is. I mean, it is required actually. That is having lot of. I mean, that can process lot of bots.
Personal top parts. Okay. Sure.
Hello.
Uh,
Yeah,
Hi, sir. This is Vignesh.
yeah, Vignesh, tell me.
Sir, what are the certifications levels are there in RPA for?
Yeah, there are mainly in development side, um, foundation developer, advanced developer, and solution architect. Three levels.
Okay.
I will be like, I mean, with this in this course, we will be covering up to advanced developer concepts.
Okay, sir. Sir, one more question. Actually, I have gap of 5 years. Whether there is a
Hmm.
fresher opportunity for UiPath RPA or they will take me as a fresher?
Uh, that depends actually. I mean, that gap we need to see as a fresher in the sense if you are able to crack that interview, then its knowledge is more important than okay. Nowadays, more IT jobs. Okay, so it is going to the market seems to be it is going to grow still more. Okay, there is going to be definitely more opportunities.
Okay, sir. For certification, is there any help from your side?
I will be
Like,
providing certification in the sense like while learning itself, you will be able to answer all the questions in the. I mean that knowledge you are going to gain. So that knowledge will be sufficient to, I mean, able to crack that certification. Yeah, you will be able
because
to. I mean, if you learn the subject, okay, thoroughly, you will be able to understand. I mean, you will be able to answer all the questions, majority of the questions. Okay.
okay, sir. Because why I am asking is because we have to pay $175 or $160. It's nearly 16,000. Suppose if we fail
Yeah.
in certification, if we have knowledge but we have failed in certification, means we have lost that amount, right? I ask any help or like a proxy like that.
Uh, I cannot comment anything on that. Let's see. There is another way of getting a certification from Uipath Academy. Okay, so there are courses in Uipath Academy. Once you complete that course also will having each chapter is having some questions at the end. So you
Okay.
need to complete those questions. Okay, that questions is almost are equivalent to certification questions. Once you complete all the lessons in that Uipath Academy, right? At the end there is a one more exam will be there in the same academy.
Okay.
Once you complete that successfully with pass marks, you will receive a certificate from Uipath Academy. That is
Okay.
a
Okay.
diploma of developer foundation, diploma of advanced developer, diploma of solution architect. Okay.
Okay, sir. So what is the
Okay.
duration of this course?
1.5 months to 2 months. Okay.
Okay.
Maybe
May I know the fee
6
structure,
weeks.
sir?
Sorry.
May I know the fee structure?
Fee structure, office people will be like you will come.
Okay.
You can
Okay.
actually
Okay. Thank you.
contact. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
You can talk to the office people. They will actually coordinate with this. Okay.
Okay, sir.
You
Thank you.
can.
Thank you.
Whoever is interested, yeah, please.
Sir, hello.
Yes. Yes.
Sir, as a professor of this field, what are the job roles I have got, sir, as a developer or a solution architect or consultant? Which is better, sir?
You should always start with developer.
Okay.
So that is your starting point. Okay. For any even business analyst role also, like you need to understand some basic development skills should be there. Okay.
Okay.
So developer or business analyst also, like business analyst is also like a basic thing only, but business analyst will be I mean whoever is having the domain knowledge, or what do you call that, SME. We can business analyst, we can call it as a SME, like
Enterprise
market.
knowledge. You can call it domain knowledge or enterprise knowledge,
If someone is
because
having domain knowledge who is already
yeah,
working, like suppose testing people, or I mean QA people, are like L1 support people, or support people, they will be having good knowledge on this domain.
Okay.
yeah,
If they wanted to shift from that support role to development role, they can also actually, so they can be considered as a business analyst, like if they learn this tool. Okay, and they can also
Okay.
become developer.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, sir.
yeah. Harsha, sorry, yes, Srinivas. Actually, earlier this year, January and Feb, I worked as a BA for this Uipath project
Mhm.
for one commercial banking.
Okay.
But actually, it's a migration project, not exactly original project. So
Mm.
there were very few requirements from client. So
Okay.
I used to get those from along with my manager.
Okay.
What I understand is for BA, what you said is right. Enterprise knowledge or particular domain knowledge is very important because that
Exactly.
because of that terminology of commercial banking is much different from what we see in reality.
Correct. Correct. Yes.
At the same time, when it comes to Uipath product, they use different language, and commercial banking they use different language. As a BA, I used to get a middle path to understand all these things. Then I came to know that okay, until unless we get a basic understanding on development, Uipath development, uh,
Yeah.
the path of a BA the path of BA would be difficult one.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
That's why I shifted to here.
Yeah. Yeah. The terminology actually, like terminology will be different. I mean, subject matter experts. I mean, there are different
Yeah,
domains
SME.
actually: healthcare, manufacturing, and
Yeah.
IT. IT also there are
Mm,
even in IT also softwares, and again like infrastructure teams and installation teams, software
yeah.
installation teams. So different people will be using different domains will be using different terminology. Okay. At this
Mm,
point of time, we don't have to worry about that. Okay. So if you learn this process, I mean the development skill, okay, while working you can gain that knowledge over a period of time. Domain knowledge you will be like gaining while working in the project, or once you
Yeah.
start working in one banking project or like one healthcare domain, then in the second project you will come to understand, like, so you will become subject matter expert as well. You will gain that
Yeah.
knowledge for a period of time. At this point of time, you don't have to worry about that. Yeah.
Srinivas, I have two questions regarding customization.
Yeah.
Generally, when we use a little bit complex bots, right?
Hmm.
People do customizations, right?
Hmm.
Generally, what I have seen in internet and your pamphlet, they will
Mhm.
be using C# and .NET for customizations,
Correct.
programming language.
Yeah.
Can we use Python?
Hmm. See, that is, I mean, customization in the sense like we are actually transferring that into a compilable uh,
Hmm.
Uipath understandable language. Okay.
Hmm.
In .NET also we can develop a Python code.
Okay.
Correct me if I am wrong. Okay. So
No, actually,
.NET,
I have very less knowledge on
yeah,
this. That's why I'm asking you.
yeah, we can see in we can develop a Visual Studio project. I mean .NET project, and inside that project we can utilize Python code. Okay,
Wow.
that way we can use Python as a customization language as well. Okay,
Hmm.
now
Hmm.
.NET, I mean it is called as NuGet packages. I mean
Oh yeah.
NuGet packages are used in Uipath.
Yes, I have
Using
seen that.
.NET, we will be like developing a NuGet packages, and that NuGet packages will be used in the Uipath. Okay,
Hmm.
or like libraries, like class libraries. So
Yeah.
we can write entire functionality in the .NET. Okay, because
Hmm.
all these RPA tools are developed on top of .NET. So I will be like covering some 3-4 sessions on .NET. I mean .NET in the sense C#, like programming language. Okay, to understand like how the regular programming and how, I mean, what are all the different terminology in that programming language, and how that can be like how that is been similar thing can be developed in UiPath. So there is one 3-4 sessions are there. I'm in the very beginning itself. That's as part of the prerequisites. So I will be covering that. And C#, basically C#, like 4-5 sessions I will be covering. Okay,
Yeah.
like
That would be very great.
variables,
Yeah.
yeah, like
That would be great.
variables, some simple statement, exception handling,
Hmm.
event handling.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Those things will be covered actually.
Yeah. That would be great. And one more thing. Yeah. Please, Manoj. Please continue. I'll stay back.
Yeah, okay. Sir, as a fresher, I can manage as a developer, or else otherwise I can go for supporter role, sir.
You learn as a developer. Okay,
Yeah.
you just be ready with development. Okay,
Okay.
support roles you will be like if you get support role you can also jump in. Okay, that is also good
Oh,
part.
okay. Okay.
But
So
getting
as
into
I
the
can.
IT job is our aim. I mean, our should be
Okay.
motive. Okay, so once
So
you
as I
enter
can.
into, yeah, once you enter into IT, right? So you will be getting a chance like while do, I mean, as part of job business, I mean BAU activities, you will be doing
Okay.
a support role, but you will be getting a chance to shift from support role to development role. By that time you
Okay.
should be having that skill. Okay,
Okay. So as I can manage, as a developer, or it's very difficult task.
man, developer is very, I mean, very easy only. It's not as you think.
Okay.
Okay, so clear all your, I mean, remove all your
Okay.
mind doubts.
Okay.
Okay, come with
Okay.
a fresh mind, you will learn all these things. This is very easy.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, sir.
After learning, see, first 1-2 weeks, if you focus and if you follow my sessions, right?
Okay.
So after that, 2-3 weeks, you will understand like this is very, you will say itself like it is very easy. Okay.
Yeah, okay, sir.
A normal doubt, not doubt actually, this regarding
Yeah.
support. Generally, I'm working in MNC, so my timing is 10 to 7. But due to this work from home options, right, office hours are extending.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm little bit doubt about my daily routines because I've been observing my routines that office hours are extending to night 7 and night 8 to 8:30.
Okay.
Uh,
You
so
joined from which location?
I'm working in Cognizant in Hyderabad location.
Okay. 10
But
to 7
right
is your working
now,
time, right? Yeah.
yeah, what you were saying?
10 to 7 is your working time, right? I mean, as
Yeah,
you
10
said.
to 7. Yeah, 10 to 7. Earlier as a BA, I used to work with these timings, 10 to 7. But
Mm.
when I get into this development for last 1 month, uh,
Mm.
people there is a mismatch between connecting times, teams connecting times.
Mhm.
So yes, there are gaps between after lunch, before lunch, kind of that. But office hours actually to 8:30. Let's say suppose today you talked about one chapter morning 8 to 9. But
Mm.
I couldn't get this office. I couldn't get the time due to office extend hours. If I want to
Mhm.
practice that in Saturday and Sunday, can I
Mhm.
can I approach you, because it is also weekend for you and you're also working guy. Uh,
Yeah.
mm,
I think we
will you
will
be
be
will
having, I think going forward, I mean, whoever is joining, right, we can have, I think one WhatsApp group will be there, I guess, okay, as a
mm,
regular practice. So whatever the doubts you have, you can post it in that, okay. If I am
mm,
online, then I can immediately address that question, okay, address that,
sure,
we can discuss, okay. That's not a problem,
sure,
okay. You can reach
sure,
out to
sure.
me, yeah.
Yeah, sure. Definitely. Yeah, that's it from my side. I don't have anything.
Okay, so if there are no
Okay,
questions, then
thank you, sir.
if there are no questions, then we can wind it up. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. I don't have anything. Yeah. Sorry, Srinivas, actually, I forgot to ask you. This regarding, is there any kind of, uh, general use cases to practice? Is there any such kind of things? I mean, in mimicking the real world, I mean, real project kind of things.
Yeah, as part of our course, right, like 2-3 features, we will be like creating a business use case, and we will be developing
Mm-hmm.
projects. Okay. Initially,
Okay,
like we
sure.
will be learning feature by feature, but
Mm-hmm.
once some 2-3 features are completed, we will be like creating one use case and then um, developing that. Okay. So that can be like as a regular practice, I mean, as a business requirement in our regular, in our organizations. Okay.
Sure. Sure, Srinivas. And I'm expecting one thing from your side is just please, when there are use cases are there for practice,
Mhm.
I would
Mhm.
I would like to expect an understanding the business logic.
Okay. Yeah.
When I mean what I felt is if we have a better clarity on business logic, what to do first, I think it would be easy for developer, right?
Yeah. So as part of the, the projects, right, um, we will first write down the requirements, okay, in sequence. So you will
Mm,
understand like so how the use
sure,
cases will be like transferred into bots.
sure, sure, Srinivas.
Okay?
That's it my side.
Yeah. And thanks everyone. Like if there are no questions, then I will be signing off. Okay.
Thank you,
Yeah,
sir.
We'll meet.
no questions from my side.
Yeah, we'll meet on Monday.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
okay, sir.
Monday 8 to 9, right?
Yeah, same timing.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.